In this video, we're going to start looking at some special angles that are going to be on the unit circle that, starting at this level on math and above, are considered common knowledge. So now remember, we have our unit circle, a circle with radius 1, and once we set the radius equal to 1, we started getting some easier information out of that. Specifically that the arc length equals the radian measure, and that the cosine is equal to x and the sine is equal to y. So let's look at our first special angle. And if I were to take my circle here, our first special angle is going to be 30 degrees. And so of course we have our right triangle. This has a radius of 1. Here's x, here's y. And this is x comma y. Okay, so we're going to look at 30 degrees. And let's first convert to radians. So if we have 30 degrees times pi over 180, so that's 30 pi over 180, which is pi over 6. So 30 degrees and pi over 6 are the same angle measure, just one in degrees, one in radians. Now let's look at our triangle. So here's 30 degrees. This is 1, this is x, this is y. Now if you look at this triangle, we recognize this triangle from previous lessons or from geometry. This is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So if we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, then we know how to associate each part. If this is associated, so this would be associated with A, this would be 2A, and this would be A times the square root of 3. So if 2A equals 1, then A is 1/2. So that means Y equals 1/2. And then A times the square root of 3 would be 1/2 times the square root of 3, which is the square root of 3 over 2. So x is the square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so for a 30 degree angle, a 30 degree angle is associated with pi over 6 radians. We have coordinates of x, the square root of 3 over 2, and y, 1/2. So here's our first special angle and the x and y coordinate for that. All right, the next special angle is kind of associated with this one, so it's going to be very similar. Here's my circle. And in this case, we're going to look at 60 degrees. I think I made that a little too steep, but that's okay. So here's x, here's y, a radius of 1, and this is going to be the point xy. Okay, so when we have 60 degrees, let's first convert. So we have 60 degrees times pi over 180. And that's going to be 60 pi over 180, whoops, which is pi over 3. And now when we look at our triangle, here's 60 degrees, here's our right angle, here's x, here's y, here's 1. And then again we have another 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree triangle. So this one's very similar to the previous one. Actually what ends up happening is which one is, you see here, y is a, and here x is a times the square root of 3. On this one, x is a, and y is a times the square root of 3. and this equals 2a. So we go through the whole same thing. A is 1/2, and a square root of 3 is square root of 3 over 2. So really what happens is just the x and the y values just switch. And so x is going to be 1/2, and y is going to be the square root of 3 over 2. So we have 60 degrees is associated with pi over 3 radians, and the coordinate is 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. There we go. Okay, next special angle, 45 degrees. Let me draw my circle here. So here is 45 degrees. Here's my x value, here's my y value. This is 1, this is x comma y. So we have 45 degrees. So let's first get our convert to radians. So we have 45 degrees times pi over 180 is 45 pi over 180, and 45 goes into 180 4 times, so it's pi over 4. All right, now let's look at our triangle here. So this is 1, this is x, this is y, this is 45 degrees. Now we should recognize this special right triangle too, because this is a 45 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree triangle. Alright, so in this one, the way we looked at it was if x is a, y is a, and this is a times the square root of 2. So if a times the square root of 2 equals 1, we divide each side by the square root of 2, and you get 1 over the square root of 2. Of course, you can't divide by the square, you can't have a radical in the denominator, so we rationalize that. And so we get the square root of 2 over 2. Now because both of these are a, that means x is the square root of 2 over 2, and y is the square root of 2 over 2. So I'm going to put it over here. 45 degrees is associated with pi over 4, and our coordinates are the square root of 2 over 2, the square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so now let's get out our unit circle. So hopefully you either printed it off or I gave it to you or somehow you got this unit circle. If not, just draw a quick one. But this is going to be our unit circle. So let me title it Unit Circle. And we just worked in the first quadrant, so we'll work on these quadrants in another video. But for this video, we're working on the first quadrant. And so what we have here is we have these first three angles. And so this angle is 30 degrees, this one is 45 degrees, and this one is 60 degrees. Now for 30 degrees, we were able to figure out that 30 degrees, a radian measure was pi over 6, and its coordinates were square root of 3 over 2, comma 1/2. So let's write that in here. Pi over 6, and then the coordinates are the square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. For 45 degrees, I forgot to box that, so let me do that. We had 45 degrees was associated with pi over 4 radians, and the x and y coordinates are the square root of 2 over 2 and the square root of 2 over 2. So we have pi over 4, the square root of 2 over 2, the square root of 2 over 2. And then for 60 degrees, we have pi over 3, and we have 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. Pi over 3, 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. Good. Right, now the last thing we need is we need the coordinate down here and the coordinate up here. And those are just kind of two really special cases. I'm even just going to get a really small piece of paper for that. If I were to look at, say, my unit circle, excuse me, and let's look at that point right there. Now that's 0 radians, or 0 degrees. Now it's easy to find the radian measure of that. That's just 0 radians. And what are the coordinates of that? Well, if this is a unit circle, we have to go 1 in the x and 0 in the y. So this is just 1, 0. So let's write that in there. So for 0 degrees, 0 radians, we have the point 1, 0. I'll put a little radian there just to clarify that. And then up here, let's draw that in. This is easy enough. Right here, that's 90 degrees. And we've already gone through that process of finding the radian measure of pi over 2. And then this is the point 0, 1. And this is just kind of some logic coming in. We don't go anywhere in the x direction, and we go up 1 in the y direction. So let's write that in. So this is 90 degrees, pi over 2, and the point 0, 1. All right, so here is the unit circle for the first quadrant with our special angles. We have 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90 degrees, which is 0, pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2 radians, and then we have these coordinates. All right, so in the next video, we're going to fill out the rest of the unit circle.